welcome to another episode of the Bottom of the Stream Movie Show. My name is Adam.
My name is Nick, and we're back. We're back on the stream boat. We are doing what we do best. We are delving down into the bottom of the Netflix stream, trying to find some hidden gems.
Not only are we delving down, we're delving down under.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
That's so good. We are off to Australia this week.
To the land of Oz. The stream boat has taken us to Australia because this movie that we're doing on this episode is called Riptide. It was released in 2017. It's a PG. It runs for 1 hour and 25 minutes and is currently rated a 5.5 out of 10 on IMDb.
Okay.
5.5?
What do ratings mean?
Fuck knows. No idea, but that's far too high. Anyway, let's carry on. This movie stars a lady called Debby Ryan. She plays a character called Cora Hamilton. Ever heard of Debby Ryan before?
No.
She's a Disney kid.
Oh, okay.
She's in all of those, like... You remember when Disney Channel making TV shows like The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody?
I'm aware of them.
Hannah Montana and all that. She's in all of those.
I was too old for those and I had no children at that time, so totally bypassed me. But I'm aware of their existence.
She must be quite famous in some circles because she plays herself in Fast X.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the latest Fast and the Furious movie. She's also has the accolade of being the youngest person to ever direct a Disney Channel TV show.
Oh, that is a good stat.
Yeah, she was 20.
Okay.
She directed her own TV show.
Nice.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Like it.
This film also stars a lady called Genevieve Hegney. She plays Margot, and Andrew Creer plays Tom. As we always do for Australian movies, what do?
We would be remiss not to check if any of the cast had starred in either Home and Away and or Neighbours.
So I went through the entire cast, and there's a couple of episodes here and there.
Sure.
And then you get to the guy who plays Caleb, who was in 258 episodes of Neighbours.
Oh, wow.
Wow, indeed.
I didn't recognise him.
Nor did I, and I don't recognise the name of the character, so I have no idea who he is. Written by Georgia Harrison. This movie this week does have a writer.
Okay.
Interesting.
This is progress.
We're
from
back to
last
normal.
week.
And directed by Rhiannon Bannenburg.
Great name.
Rhiannon
My
Bannenburg.
favourite type of cake.
It's just really fun to say, Rhiannon Bannenburg.
Oh, I want to say it.
Go on.
Rhiannon Bannenburg. That's brilliant.
Say it without the space in the middle.
Rhiannon Bannenburg.
Good fun, isn't it?
Rhiannon Berg
Rhiannon Berg.
to her friends.
Nick, do you have a one-word review?
Cowabunga? Is that what surfers say?
That's what skaters say, isn't
Oh,
it?
okay.
No, you might be right.
Surf's up.
So it's a surfing movie, baby. Where does this movie start, Nick?
I'm going to use this word a lot in this movie.
I think we both are, and I know what the word is.
This movie starts with a montage.
It does indeed.
And I was nearly going to say, is this movie all montage? But aren't all movies montages?
This one is.
We start with a montage. It is a makeup / photo shoot / modelling
Montage. It is indeed.
with some like internet and headlines thrown in.
Yeah.
We're getting our setup.
We are indeed. And we hit the title card straight out of this montage. And we come out of the title card we meet Cora for the first time.
In the montage, it says things like headlines from things like I guess it's a rip-off of like things like
Vogue.
TMZ and things like that, isn't it? It's like Cora, it girl, model on the rise.
Yeah, she's
all that sort of thing.
We got the impression in the first 2 minutes of this movie that we're about to meet a model on the rise.
Yes.
And we do. We meet her straight away after the title card. We meet Cora for the first time, and she is having a conversation with an older lady who we then find out is her mother.
Yes.
And she is talking about how she wants to go to college.
But her mum's like, what? Just shut up. We're in the middle of the biggest shoot of your career.
Yeah. So
you're going to be the world famous model. What do you need college for?
Yeah, exactly.
It's terrible parental advice. Yeah, mum's like, you're a model girl. You don't need college.
And then Cora says, well, it's graduation tomorrow. Are you coming to that? And she's like, no, I've got a business meeting. I'm not.
He says, I'm negotiating your contract.
Yeah. She's a pushy mother who is also Cora's manager.
Yeah. Well, it turns out owns a modelling agency.
Yes, exactly. And Cora is currently modelling for Morgana, who's the biggest fashion designer in New York. Wherever they're... New York, it is New York.
Yeah.
In New York. And she manages to offend this guy.
I got the wrong end of the stick here because my note says Cora's like a modelling Jedi because she's like she's going to be in front of the camera, but then she's like, oh, this dress doesn't look quite right, so she pulls a bit off the dress, and I was like, oh, she's going to be like this. This is like the Lionel Messi of modelling.
Yeah.
She's got an eye for the photo. She's doing the whole thing herself. But no, she gets told off by Morgana.
She absolutely gets told off. She gets ripped a new one.
You stay in front of the camera, bitch. Basically.
Yeah, basically. Just be a model and look pretty.
Yeah.
She gets offended by this.
She storms off.
When she storms off, she runs out of the room. She runs down some stairs and falls down some stairs.
Yeah, and this is like the worst thing that could possibly happen in the world.
Yeah, to an up-and-coming model.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess this seems to be pretty much world headlines.
Yeah, I guess so. Because it goes viral.
Yeah,
somebody films her falling down the stairs. And it goes, it's not even a big fall. It's not like a dress ended up over her head and the knickers are out or anything.
That costume's got to go back on hire. That's only on hire.
Yeah.
This movie can't afford that budget.
But this video goes viral.
And it's like her world has ended.
Yeah, it is. It's like embarrassing to her, embarrassing to her mother.
And mum's talking like, we've got to do damage control.
Yeah.
She fell down a stair. I'm pretty sure like Naomi Campbell fell over all the time.
Yeah, she used to beat up photographers. Allegedly. We go back home with Cora. She's sitting in her bedroom feeling all sorry for herself, watching this video over and over again.
And her mum sends in one of her people to check on her.
to check on her, to make sure she's okay.
And Cora's like, well, couldn't she come in herself to ask me?
She's on the call. She's on a call.
Yeah,
she's too busy. And Cora manages to find a birthday card. She's 18, this girl. She's just turned 18. She finds a birthday card from her aunt who lives in Australia.
Aunt Margot.
Aunt Margot. Or Margot, as it should be pronounced.
Should it?
Yes, I think so. And this triggers something in Cora. And she's like...
Nice memories.
I'm going to go to Australia.
Yeah, and we see the nice memories in like hazy flashbacks of her paddling in the beach.
Yes.
Sea.
So...
the beach.
Paddling in the beach sea.
Beach sea.
Yeah, absolutely. So we get another montage of her packing a bag and getting in a cab and getting to an airport.
Yeah.
So she's not even hanging around. She's going straight to this Australia.
This Australia, yeah.
This Australia.
We're on all cylinders tonight.
We are firing.
She ignores her mum, who is calling her.
Yep.
And then her mum just turns up at the airport anyway.
Does indeed.
She's somehow got through security.
She saw the charge on the credit card.
Yes. For $7,000.
For $7,000 for a flight. So figured out she knew where Cora was.
She's a model. Just be happy she's not like doing drugs.
No, exactly.
Let her go to Australia.
Cora gives it to her mum both barrels. She tells her some real home truths about life and what's going on.
She tells her it would be nice to have someone take an interest in me, and her mum's like, I'm busy, I'm doing this for you. Yeah. I can't give you all my time. And Cora says, I don't want all of your time.
Just want some of it.
Yeah.
Her mum does not listen.
I mean,
she doesn't take any of this in. She doesn't understand Cora's problems.
I agree, and I don't think we expect like deep layered characters.
No.
When we're watching this sort of movie.
Don't be expecting that from this movie because you're not getting it.
But my God, her mother was the paper thinnest caricature of a...
She really was. Like New York
workaholic,
yeah, she really was.
Like, it was like they'd photocopied Meryl Streep from The Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah.
About 6,000 times. And each copy had got slightly weaker, and that's what this character was.
Yes, agreed. Anyway, the conversation ends when... Cora storms off and gets on a plane. And then we cut to Australia. A lady wakes up in a bed. She's not alone, but she is alone. She's having memories of her dead husband.
She does still talk to her dead husband, yes.
And we see him, but he's not there. This is just how the film's decided to do
Aunt
this.
Margot and previously Uncle Caleb.
Yes. We don't know how he died yet, but we do find out later on. She gets out of bed. She gets up. She goes to do some Tai Chi in the morning.
Do you know what? I'm really trying not to be like stereotypical on what my perception of Australia is.
Yeah.
But when I saw Aunt Margot do Tai Chi in this movie, I immediately thought, the only other time I can really remember Tai Chi playing a significant role in a TV or movie is when Helen Daniels used to do it all the time in Neighbours.
But you can say we don't want to stereotype Australia. This film stereotypes Australia to the hilt. It's a wonder there's not kangaroos bounding around. Yeah, you're right. Even the house that they lived in looks like the house from Home and Away. But yeah, she goes to do some Tai Chi with another lady who we later find out is her ex-mother-in-law.
Yeah. I think she's still a mother-in-law. I don't know.
I don't know. How does that work?
I don't know. That's maybe a grim conversation.
Yeah. And during this Tai Chi lesson,
she's so blissed out doing this Tai Chi, getting a Zen on.
She's forgotten that she's supposed to go and pick up her niece.
She thinks it's the day it was yesterday.
She thinks it's yesterday, yes. So she rushes off and goes off to pick up Cara in a ute. That's what Australians drive.
Yep.
Utes.
And Cora has been, like, she got off the bus.
Yeah.
And I would say within 3 seconds, you can see the ute coming towards her. And probably
it's not like she's late or anything.
30 seconds after that, Margot pulls up.
Yeah.
And Margot's like, oh, I'm so sorry I'm late. And Cora's like, oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
She didn't go like, I've literally just got off the bus. There it is.
You can still see the bus. You're fine.
It's gone. Just
no,
go
she
in
didn't
that
say
way.
that at all.
Just made me laugh.
And then
I felt sometimes I had to, like, make my own.
Did you laugh at this movie rather than with it? Yeah. She also lies again to Margot in the car journey back to the house when she tells her that her mum knows that she's there and she's happy for her.
This scene in the car when they were talking to each other was also the first time I really noticed that this movie was completely redubbed.
Completely redubbed. The whole thing.
Quite badly and in parts very badly.
Because I didn't spot it at this point, and I was like, that auntie lady's really bad. Her acting was awful. And then after a minute, I was like, that's dubbed. That's why.
Yeah, they were both. I presume because of the noise of the car.
The car, yeah, and the ocean. The whole film's set by the ocean, so I imagine that's why it's happening.
They've all redubbed themselves,
but it's really bad.
Yeah,
the dub in some points is worse than the one last week.
Yeah, we have seen better
foreign language dubs
where they are actually foreign language dubs.
This is bad.
This has not been dealt a kind hand in.
Nobody spent any time on the dub of this movie. We find out that at this point that Margot does have a dead husband. And when they get to the house, there is a couple of people there waiting.
Yeah.
So it's the lady that we met earlier who she was doing Tai Chi with.
Yes.
Caleb's mum. And another guy, who I assumed was Caleb's brother at this point, but he wasn't.
No.
He was like best friend.
His
name was Owen.
He was kind of her friend as well, but unfortunately they have a strained relationship because it turns out Margot owns a surf school.
Caleb used to run a surf school.
Yeah.
Margot now, ipso facto, owns that.
And Owen owns the rival surf school in town.
And he wants to buy her surf school.
Yeah.
But she's not over the death of her husband whose surf school it was.
She doesn't want to let it go.
So she doesn't want to let it go. So they have a bit of a argy-bargy about it.
Yeah, he's like, look, it's the best thing to do. You're not doing anything with it. You're going to get yourself in trouble if you...
Yeah.
He's trying to give her a bit of tough love, I suppose.
Yeah, basically. But she sends him packing. She's like, get out of my house, blah, blah, blah. Clear off. We find out at this point as well that Margot is a world record holding surfer.
She was a 3-time world champ.
She was. And
the mother-in-law, who's called B, says, oh, I'm sure your mum told you all about it. And Cora just goes, this is the first time hearing of this.
At all. And there's also a surf festival that's about to happen in the town.
I love the timing.
It's just about to happen. It's a few weeks away, but it's just about to happen.
What is the surf festival celebrating?
100 years of ladies in surfing.
Yeah.
Women surfers.
Since the first woman said, screw you, patriarchy, I'm getting on a surfboard.
I think the line was, since the first woman walked into the ocean. Really?
I loved it.
Yeah. Margot then shows Cora to her bedroom. And
all right, this was a weird bit. So
it was a weird bit.
I will say what I think was happening here.
Yeah.
And you tell me if I have completely misjudged it or not.
Okay.
Because I thought it was weird.
It was.
So Aunt Margot takes Cora to her guest room,
yes,
the bedroom that she's going to be staying in. And she's like, oh, I've still got loads of your pictures up that you did and some of your belongings.
Yeah.
And now, to our knowledge, Cora's only been there once on holiday.
As a child.
About 10 years ago.
I think it says 10 years ago.
And I'm like, are you telling me she's kept this room just like since the last time she stayed in it 10 years ago? With all these drawings that she did on a, 3-week holiday before. That was my understanding of what was going on.
I think you're right. I don't know if it was just one holiday or she'd been there a couple of times, but...
No, I think it was once, because there's a conversation later where she says to Aunt Margot, I still remember when we came, and my mum promised we'd come back every year after that.
Yes, you're right.
And we never did.
She does, you're right. They have only been there once. Yeah, it is weird.
So there's this, like, Cora shrine from when she was 10. And
do you know what was also weird?
What?
In the next scene, she's sitting in the bathroom, and you can hear the sound of running water as if she's running a bath.
Yeah.
There's no running water coming out of the tap.
That's magic.
And she is just sitting looking at this water that's not filling up in the bath. And she spots another guy out of the window.
Yeah.
And this is Tom, who we later meet. But at this point, he's just hot surf instructor.
Sure.
Who works for the surf school.
Got his wetsuit down around his
never wears
hips.
a top. So she runs this bath, which she never has.
No, she doesn't. She
never goes to the bath.
She goes to go and have a sandwich.
She goes outside to have a sandwich, but when she gets out there, her sandwich is being eaten by somebody else.
Yes.
Chica, who also doesn't live at the house, but also is always at the house.
Yeah.
And do we know who she is?
She's just a local surf girl.
She's just a kid.
Yeah.
Who just happens to hang around
and
Margot. But Tom does live there. Or he lives out the surf school or somewhere in this area.
He's the one employee remaining in the surf school. Who's probably also lodging there.
Oh, there's also a chicken.
Yes. I like the chicken. I think it was Belinda.
It definitely began with a B.
Yeah.
I'll give you Belinda. I thought Bridget, but maybe it is Belinda.
Good performance. Good chicken.
Probably the best actor in the film.
And I think on your character sheet for Chica, I think it would literally just say quirky. And that's it. That's all it would say.
Okay.
And that's what she's had to base this performance on.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right.
She wears dungarees and talks about popping candy. She thinks it's like the best thing invented.
I don't feel like she's ever been far away from this house. They don't have the internet at the house. Margot does not have the internet, so Cora can't check in on her phone to see what's going on. But they do have internet at the surf school.
Sure.
So the
three
youngsters head down there.
Blue Soul.
That's it. And Cora checks her phone, and she's getting quite a lot of abuse online. For tripping down 2 steps.
Hate scrolling, isn't she?
Yeah. All she did was trip down 2 steps.
Yeah.
That's all she's done. My next note says Chica is a happy soul.
Yeah.
She's just always happy. She's always smiley. She comes across as a bit of a psychopath because of it. She wants to know if Cora's ever heard of her friend who lives in New York. He's called Patrick and he always wears a hat.
Yeah.
And Cora's like, there's 8 million people who live in New York.
Yeah.
No, I don't know your friend. She calls her mum's voicemail, knowing that she'll get the voicemail, I believe, just to leave a message. Oh, no, she doesn't leave a message.
She practices.
And
then when
she didn't want to speak to her mum, but I think she wanted her mum to know that she'd tried to call her. And then we cut back to New York.
Mum is sad.
That is exactly what my note says.
Yeah.
Mum is sad.
In NYC, Mum is sad. That's what my note says.
And then we cut back to Australia where nobody's sad because what they've decided to do is play baseball with coconuts.
Yep. And Margot goes, oh, Cora's really sad. There's only one thing to do to cheer up. We've got to play Code Coconut.
Yeah.
And then the mother-in-law says, yeah, but we've got to wear helmets because I'm definitely... I really think Chica got concussed last time we played it. And I'm like, are they suggesting she's like got some...
Maybe. I hadn't picked that up at all, but maybe you're right. Maybe that's what's wrong with Chica.
I was like...
Got brained by a coconut.
Feels a bit dark.
I hadn't picked that up, but maybe you're right.
I mean, they do. They play coconut baseball
basically
and have an amazing time.
Everyone has fun, my note says.
Like Cora is still playing in like heels and a designer dress.
Yeah, she's always in that. After that, Chica takes Cora to the ocean.
That just goes in the sea.
Here's the ocean.
Right, let's go in the sea.
She's reluctant to go in, but she does go in the end.
Yeah.
That night, they have a fire on the beach. Just have a bit of a hangout on the beach around a fire. And it's revealed that they've seen the video. Chica accidentally lets it drop that everybody there has seen this video.
Yeah.
And I've written here, my note says, some mushy shit about mushiness.
Margot basically says... Look, what you falling down those 2 stairs is no different to when I used to wipe out on a surfboard. It's a learning experience. And then Cora goes on about how she wants to be a designer, not a model. Yeah. And then there's a load of stuff about, look, I'm sure if fashion's your thing, maybe it's true. But it's all this stuff about like how designers are just as... very similar to architects. They have to build something from the ground up. And
it's one of the most boring scenes in the history of movies.
Just go on for a bit.
It does. And the scene ends where the mother-in-law, what was her name? B. She turns to Cora and says, you and Chica should go surfing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. Yeah. Completely out of nowhere. They probably were going to anyway.
Cut to.
Guess what's happening?
They're
going surfing. Now, they don't get a surfing lesson from Tom, who's the surf instructor. No. Chica thinks, I'll give her a surfing lesson.
Yeah.
So she does. While they're out surfing, the telephone rings. and it is Mum.
Yeah.
Sandra?
Sophia, I think.
Soph, you're right. She calls and speaks to Margot, and seems they've not spoken for a very long time because it's very awkward.
No, and they quickly start to fall out again, and Sophia's just like, look, is Cora okay?
I get the impression they've not spoken since Margot's husband died.
Yeah,
which is
they have not
bad.
reconnected.
And Sophia says to Margot, one of the first things she says is, have you sold the surf school yet?
Yeah.
Which she's not ready to do. She gets offended by that, and they eventually hang up on each other.
Yeah, because Margot says to Sophia, look, you don't tell me how to run my business. Last time you came to visit here was only because your last company was in trouble and blah, blah, blah.
Cora then gets to know Tom a little bit more. They have a bit of a chat, and as they're chatting, the other surf school turns up at the beach.
Oh, they're called Wave Masters.
Wave Masters.
Much better name.
They've got very generic, boring surfboards. They've all got like plain red surfboards.
Yeah, they're not like the Cobra Kai of the surf world.
But that's just to remind us that there's another surf school. I think that's all that scene was there for. When they get home, the mother-in-law tries to get Cora involved in the festival planning.
Yeah, it turns out she's the head of the festival planning committee.
Yeah.
And she's going to do it all out of Margot's house.
Yep.
Because she says to Margot, Margot's like, why have you brought these people to my house? Why aren't you doing it at your house? And B just says, well, I didn't want to mess my house up.
Yeah. Fair.
So I'm using yours instead.
Absolutely fair.
Family, eh?
So Cora gets to do some fashion designing with some old swimsuits.
Yeah, because B's like, I had this great idea. I thought the main event of the festival about surfing could be a fashion show.
Yeah. Of swimsuit design through the ages. From the past 100 years. So
Cora's okay.
Cora gets all like intricate with the fabrics again, like she did at the beginning.
Yeah.
And she says, I need a sewing machine.
Yeah.
So they go up to the attic, I assume, and they find this dilapidated old Singer sewing machine that weighs an absolute ton. And then we get a surfing/sewing montage.
I put sewing, surfing, designing, waxing montage.
Correct.
As in waxing the surfboards.
Yeah.
And then I've put, it is so long.
My note says longest montage ever, question mark.
It is minutes.
5 minutes, I reckon. I reckon if you time it, it's 5 minutes. Because I kept thinking, because at one point the song ends, and I'm like, okay, it'll just fade back into the movie, and then it carries on. I'm like, this is the longest montage I've ever seen. And we've seen some long montages on this show.
There's a lot of padding in this movie.
Oh yeah, it's only an hour and 25 minutes long.
My best favourite bit of padding in this movie is yet to come.
Okay, cool. She then has a bit of a bonding session with Tom again.
Yeah, he's
they
like
get to know each other.
Yeah, because he's like, you can't design when it's quiet. He brings some vinyl in, doesn't he?
Plays some songs to her,
and he likes her designs.
Yes, and she asks Chica to be her model.
Yeah,
because Chica's a good-looking girl. Why can't she be a model? Cut to Mum being sad again.
Yeah,
and then we cut back to Australia, and Owen has come to chat to Margot again. And do they dance?
Kind of. They have a bit of a conversation. They have a conversation about. She says to him, "Can I give you some feedback?" And he's like, "Yeah, what's up?" And she says, He's like, "Why can't we keep us in Wave Masters? We can't keep students.
Yeah,
we have a certain amount. They just leave after one lesson." And she's like, "Because you're too military. You're not nice. Yeah, basically,
you're not Australian enough."
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh man, if only we could combine surf schools, we'd have your people skills, my financial backing and equipment. We'd be the best surf school in this tiny little town."
They'd also have Tom, who is a surf instructor that nobody's even mentioned. I've written here, I think he's her husband's best friend, but it's never actually explicitly stated who it is.
And he's like, "Your music shit, I'm putting some better music on." Yeah. Then they have a dance.
Yeah, they have a dance. They have a bit of a moment. Considering all the way through they've hated each other, it was quite surprising. Cora then accidentally finds out that Margot hasn't surfed for a year.
Yeah, because B tells her.
She goes out with her surfboard and stands by the ocean, but doesn't actually ever go in. Then she gets some more models for her fashion show.
Cool surf girls. That's what she says to Chica. Friends, she says, "Chica, I need some cool surf girls." Yeah. And we get a mirror image scene of what happened at the beginning of the movie. Yeah. So one of the cool surf girls changes one of Cora's designs. Dresses, yeah. And Cora flips out like Morgana did at the beginning. Yeah. And she ends up storming out. And one of the models go, "I don't know why you're so bothered. It's only dress up."
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's her. This is like she's building the Empire State Building.
She doesn't recognise that she's doing the same thing that she was doing, and she eventually storms out, and it's a complete mirror scene. And then Tom just tells her the truth. He's like, well, that was a bit stupid. What have you done that for? Tom's proper Australian. He don't give a shit. Then Margot talks to her about being a strong woman. Again, it goes on fucking ages, and it's just sentimental bullshit.
Yeah.
She then apologises to Chica.
And Chica's just like, yeah, I'm cool.
Yeah. But she hadn't done anything wrong to Chica.
No.
It was her friend that she offended.
This is my favourite part in the whole movie.
Me too. My next note says, Tom has a horse, because of course he does.
She just goes to find him, and he's just petting these horses on the beach.
And she's like, oh, are they your horses? And he's like, no, I just found them.
Like, he's this horse whisperer.
Yeah,
these wild horses, famously, not skittish, wild horses. And he's like, yeah, come over, pet the horses that I've just found, and
they look really sexy standing next to.
And then we get a horse petting montage. Yep.
Horse touching montage.
I loved it. It's
ridiculous. That night, for this absolute nothing scene of a horse touching,
Corey she's going back to the drawing board to reflect on what she's learned.
Yeah, so she goes for a bit of a wander outside, and she sees a light on in a shed.
Yeah.
And so she decides she's going to let herself in.
Sure.
She finds a key and lets herself in.
Opens the padlock.
And it's an old workshop. Doesn't look like anybody's been there for a while. So we can figure out whose workshop it was.
There are various surfboards in different states of construction.
Yeah. And Tom comes in. And he says, what are you doing in here? Nobody's been in here for a year.
Yeah.
It's Caleb's old workshop. Thanks for the explanation, Tom.
And he's like, I don't like being in there. Like, Caleb, the ghost of Caleb is haunting.
And this board here that's half made would have been my board. And he's
like, I started that. Yeah. Caleb was teaching me how to build a board.
Margot then has another chat with dead Caleb.
He gives her a bit of a pep talk.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, look, you can move on. I don't want you to be sad forever, sort of thing.
Yeah. My next note is, the next day, Cora joins Tom standing in the sea lesson. Because he's doing a surf lesson, but there's no boards. Nobody says anything. And they're like, you know them statues on the beach where they're sometimes underwater and sometimes not? They look like that.
Isn't it? It's really creepy, isn't it?
Yeah, because
Tom's in the sea with like 4 students, let's say, and then Cora paddles through them.
Yeah, she doesn't say anything to any of them.
And they all just like in slow-mo turn and like
it was fucking creepy. They look like Doctor Who bad guys. Yeah. They're just standing in the sea doing nothing and not saying anything.
It's supposed to be romantic or something.
I don't know. It was so
weird. She paddles
weird.
through this group of dudes and they all just like, yeah, it's really odd.
Yeah.
It's like, I was like, that's creepy.
And she can now full on surf as well.
Yeah.
So that one lesson with Chica was
in her bones.
Chica should be the surf instructor. It is in her bones. Then Tom takes her to see a cave.
Yeah.
He reveals that he's not been in that workshop since Caleb died.
Yeah.
Which we already knew.
But they bond about being creative because she's like, oh, you're like me. You're creating something from nothing. You can control what it becomes, your design. And he's like, oh my God, it's like you're speaking to my heart.
All the while just sitting in a cave.
Yeah.
And then he points to a chalk painting on the wall of the cave and he went, you drew that. Drude, you did that. And she's like, what? I've been here before? I've met you before? I know you? Chalk lasts for 10 years on a wall? What are you talking about?
In a wet cave?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I was the little annoying boy that you were knocking around with last time you came to stay.
She's 18. So she would have been 8 the last time he came. He's 28.
He's not supposed to be 28.
No, he's not, but he is. He's definitely old. He looks older than her and he is definitely older than her. But he was the annoying boy that hung around, apparently. And after some cheesy dialogue, they have a bit of a smooch.
They do.
She gets home and she takes a call on the house phone without even thinking about it. She picks it up. Guess who it is?
It's Mum.
It's her mum. And she's got Cora... Well, she
says, I've done it. I've controlled the damage. The crisis is over.
We've signed the deal with Morgana. It's the biggest job in your history of your world.
She says the one nice thing she says, which is kind of accidentally, she says, I think it was a good thing you went to Australia. It's given us space.
Yeah.
But now I've sealed the deal. You need to get back here.
She's not changed at all. Because she says...
your plane leaves tonight.
Yeah, I've booked you some plane tickets. Your plane leaves tonight. Get on that plane.
No, the festival's tomorrow.
Shit! The festival! But she tells Tom she's not learned anything from this whole thing because she says to Tom, right, I'm going home. I've got this modelling job that
And
I
then
don't want
she
to do.
says, and I lost, at this point, for whatever sympathy I had for Cora, she's like, I'm not like you. I don't just give up.
Yeah. Just literally was horrible to him.
Yeah.
So he storms off and then Margot comes in and she's fucking horrible to her as well.
Yeah, she's like, she says to Aunt Margot, you've just sat around doing nothing since your husband died. I'm like, your husband's died.
She actually uses a line, Caleb is a weight around your neck.
It's like there's memories of him everywhere.
Margot has been nothing but nice to this girl for the whole movie. She's let her into her home and she just rips her head off.
Yeah.
And it's because she doesn't want to go back and model. But she could have just said, I'm not coming back and modelling. Because that's what she did at the beginning.
How are those bridges that are behind you burning?
Oh, it's ridiculous. And then she goes in and rips all the designs up for the swimsuits that she's been designing. And then we're at the airport. She's walking to the airport. She's stolen the sewing machine.
Yeah, one bit of luggage is this sewing machine.
Which the pilot won't let her take on the plane.
Too heavy.
It's too heavy.
Because there's a storm coming.
So she's like, fuck it. I'm not going there.
Well, the pilot says to her, we have got to go now
Yeah.
or we're stuck here.
Yeah.
Because there's a storm coming in.
So because she can't take the sewing machine, it looked like because she can't take the sewing machine on the plane, which she has stolen, she is not going. So she doesn't go.
To be fair, there were a load of flashbacks of the movie we've just seen.
Yeah.
Like Cora was remembering why these people.
Yeah, there's a
were actually
flashback
nice
montage of the good times in Australia and the bad times in New York.
That we've all seen.
Yeah.
Play out.
It's basically
already.
the whole movie plays again in fast motion. But she doesn't go. Because we knew she wouldn't go.
She goes back to Margot's.
Well, she goes to apologise to Tom.
Oh, yes. Yeah, but at
Margot's house.
it's all set in the garden of this house.
And he accepts her apology.
He's like, it's all right.
No problem, it's fine. He's a laid-back Australian boy. They hug, and he says, there's a bit of a storm coming in, you know.
Yeah.
Where's Margot?
Doesn't he say he's got to go and lock up the surf shop or something?
Just in case it blows away.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Then Cora goes into the house to try and find Margot because she needs to tell her that she's not gone anywhere.
Yeah.
But doesn't find her and notices that Margot's surfboard is gone.
Yeah.
Shit.
What time to
There's
go
a storm coming.
There is.
We then cut to Margot who's on the water.
And then, to be fair, I think I'll say this as a compliment. They then managed to do a whole drowning/storm thing without a storm ever happening.
Yes.
Apart from someone presumably pouring a water can into a bathtub.
Yes.
So we see some droplets.
Yeah. Margot trying to die in this storm intentionally?
My takeaway was, she's
because
gone
she's
out
a champion surfer and there's no waves and she should be just easily surfing these waves. Because
that was my takeaway from it, that she'd gone out to
try and end things.
Yeah.
But she
would
she
have
does,
been completely Cora's fault because she sent her into a spiral by
Exactly.
telling her that her husband was a weight around her neck.
But it's okay because Cora can surf out and save her in the middle of a storm.
Yeah.
After one surf lesson, remember. And she does. She drags Margot up, puts Margot on a board, and the storm ends, and the storm is never mentioned again.
No.
And the sea is like a mill pond. There is literally not a single wave in that sea. And that's the end of the storm. Mum then finds out that Cora didn't get on the plane.
Yeah.
She's annoyed. But then she's not annoyed for long because she finds
the perfect video.
The perfect home video.
Perfect point in the
just
movie.
happens to be on her computer.
And it's of their trip to Australia.
Yes.
At
when Cora
Margot and Caleb's house.
Yes. When Cora was like 8. And Cora's designed this dress out of, looks like paper and stuff.
Well, it's bits of paper and, And she comes in and she's really proud. She wants to show them. Look at my design.
And Margot's really proud of her and is like, oh, it's amazing. It looks great. And her mum's like, well, model it properly then. And do the posing.
Catwalk. And
of course, I don't want to. I just want to show you that I've designed it. Yeah. And her mum gets all pushy mum on it. And
you even hear Caleb, he's on the camera, operating the camera, and he says, well, yeah.
She doesn't want to model it. And then that gives the mum a come to Jesus moment. She's like,
come to Australia moment.
She's like, oh, I'm the bad guy. I get it now.
If only she'd have told me this right at the start of the movie. Oh, wait, she did.
She did. We come back to Australia. Margot is now ready to say goodbye to Caleb. She's now seen what he went through, I guess, I assume he drowned. I don't think we ever find that out.
I don't think it's said.
I don't think it does, but I think he's...
Eaten by a shark?
Maybe.
Let's say that.
So they throw some reefs in the river.
All three of them do. Yeah, the big
river.
river.
All three of them do, and that's the end of Caleb. They're moved on, and everybody can be happy again.
That was quite a sweet moment.
Yeah, it was all right.
They all had a hug, the three generations.
The festival starts the next day.
Sure does.
It's a success. Everybody seems to be enjoying themselves at this tiny little festival on the beach. And the fashion show starts.
Yep.
And
everyone's going wild.
Yeah, everybody loves a fashion show of 100-year-old swimsuits. Now, some of these swimsuits would not have been worn 100 years ago.
They're not. She's kind of like took. I guess what
she took inspiration
She took
from
the aesthetic rather than recreating it, because some of them are like a bit steampunky.
Yeah, they're not swimsuits from 100 years ago for definite. But guess who shows up in the middle of this fashion show?
It's Mum.
It is Mum, and nobody's surprised by this.
No.
Cora looks over and goes, "Oh, there's my mum."
How long's the flight from New York to Sydney?
It's got to be a while.
Yeah, probably.
Then Margot looks over and she kind of just smiles, and everybody's like, "Were they expected? She called to say she was coming?"
Yeah, but they don't want to interrupt the show. It's in mid-flow.
But you'd think she'd at least gone, "Shit, there's my mum." Not, "Oh, hello." And then
no, she says, "Come on, second part of the show."
Yeah, the models finish modelling, and then she says, "Right, run down to the ocean," which is quite a long way away.
Yeah.
So they go. The models then go surfing.
Yeah, with the
swimsuits on,
designs on.
Mum approaches Cora and
just a massive montage of surfing and modelling.
Shit, yeah. Mum approaches Cora and tells her that she's proud of her. They basically have their reunion moment. Chica's friend Patrick turns out. Remember him?
Yeah. So basically, Chica and some others had presumably been taking some photos of the shoot and of them surfing.
Yeah, and putting them on Instagram.
Yeah.
And got some likes on Instagram.
Yeah, and Chica says, "Oh, my friend Patrick, I told you about. He's liked one of the photos, or some of the photos."
And it turns out Patrick is the New York fashion guru who's like...
I've written the word down. It turns out that he is, according to Cora, one of the most iconic fashion photographers in the world.
Okay.
It is never explained how Chica knows him.
No. Why Chica would know him.
This sort of farm girl from...
Who's never left this little ranch in Australia. Yeah. She just suddenly knows this guy in New York.
Yeah.
And he likes her Instagram photos.
And she's like, "Yeah, I've passed you your details. He's going to call you to Cora."
Ridiculous.
I was like, the fucking balls on this movie.
Margot and Owen join forces. They join their surf schools together. Finally. Tom has made a new surfboard.
A lot's happened very quickly in this closing montage.
Yeah. This is a closing montage. Tom's made a new surfboard, which he gives to Cora. The workshop now belongs to him. He just holds the keys up and says, "That's my workshop now." And Cora's mum says, "I think you should think about going to college."
Yeah, she's like, "I agree with what you said right at the start of this movie. You should look at going into college."
Yeah. And Cora's like, "I've already been accepted into college."
Yeah.
Here, in Australia, and in New York.
Yeah. And then Margot says, which one are you going to choose?
And she completely ignores the question and runs into the sea.
Yeah.
And that's how your movie ends.
I need closure.
She's going to choose Australia. Why would she go back to New York? It's not even like a cliffhanger, is it? What did you think of this movie, Nick?
Strangely, I enjoyed it.
Okay.
And I've no idea why.
I have no idea why either, because I fucking hated it.
But I think, for me, we have... One of the different things about it is I was kind of sitting there thinking, not that I want to watch it again, because I never want to watch it again, but I was kind of thinking, it's not out of the ordinary for this sort of thing to be on in my house.
Yeah.
And, like, if... With the sort of eyes on, like, if we were watching as family, because I've got 2 young daughters, I'd be like, this is fine for you to watch. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. This is it's bubblegum, harmless, stupid. Yeah. Whereas I can imagine you sitting there going, this is an absolute fucking waste of my time.
It isn't a bad movie, but it isn't a me movie, obviously.
Sure.
But I can understand why there's certain demographics out there that wouldn't hate this movie.
I understand why this movie exists.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
And that's what this show's all about. We watch different movies in different genres and different things come and go. And sometimes we like... SPF 18 is a perfect example. That's one of these movies. But we both loved it.
I think this, though...
which really puzzles everybody else who's ever seen it.
Yeah, but that was a bit weird. This is, in my memory, just desperately trying to think of all 200-odd movies we've seen.
I don't think we've ever seen one like this before.
I think this might be the most out-and-out just family movie
Chintzy
that
movie.
we've ever seen.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because that's all it is.
It's an extended episode of Home and Away.
Yeah.
It's inoffensive. Nothing really happens. But it's boring as fuck.
It is boring. There's some really... The montages are ridiculous. Take the montages out. This is an hour long.
If that.
The acting's bad. The dub does it no favours whatsoever.
No, the post-production's really let it down.
It's sort of a shitty, rotten cherry on top of just shit. But having said all that, I sort of had a little chuckle a couple of times at it.
Yeah.
But I at no point was I like, oh, fuck it, I hate this.
Yeah.
It was stupid, it was shit, but I found some enjoyment in it.
I didn't think I hate this. I thought I'm bored of this.
Yeah.
But that's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
I see the demographic of why somebody would sit and watch it.
When those horses turned up, I was just like, but brilliant.
I did laugh at that, I must admit.
Why?
Because that guy looked sexy next to a horse.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what it was.
Just his long hair was flowing, the horses' manes were flowing.
Yeah.
Just, I've tamed these wild horses for you. Can't make that up. Well, you can, it's in a movie.
Well, yeah, somebody's made it up. It's an unusual one for us to do on this show, but that's what this show's all about. Just doing stuff that's out of the ordinary.
It's out of the wheelhouse, but it's what the randomizer threw up. I mean, it's an hour and 20 minutes long. It felt like it was 2 hours long.
It did.
And it's done on the cheap, and
it's a Hallmark movie, isn't it? There's no peril to any of the characters.
Yeah,
you know exactly where it's going from the start. Nobody's ever in any danger. There's no story here.
I'd say it's a young adult movie, but it's not even tween, is it?
It's aimed at 50-year-old mums, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it's just...
It is so paint by numbers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, like there's no characters. There's paper thin is an injustice to paper.
Yeah, it's terrible. What's the best thing about it?
I mean, in parts, it's shot nicely.
Yeah.
There's some nice shots of surfing.
Australia's lovely.
The beach looks great. The house is nice. The garden, even the workshop.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would like to go there.
Yeah, I'd go there.
Chill out for a bit.
Would you like to do a surf lesson?
I would like to give surfing a go.
Yeah.
I've never tried it.
Not me. I'd be terrible at it, but I can imagine you giving it a go.
I always think, I'd really like to go surfing. I always think that wetsuits look like a pain in the ass to get into. Like, I've done like whitewater rafting and a few bits and bobs which requires a wetsuit. And they always just a pain to get in and out.
I can honestly say I've never donned a wetsuit in my life.
Yeah.
Probably never will, I'm not going to lie.
I think you can do it.
Well, I could probably do it, but it's whether I want to. What would you change about it? You've got to sort that dub out for a start.
That's the easiest thing you can do to have a bit of an impact on this movie.
Yeah. It's all right overdubbing some lines if there's background noise, but pretty much the whole movie is.
It's just an extra handicap
really
that it
bad.
doesn't need. It's really off-putting.
Yeah, and maybe just give it a story.
Yeah.
Just make something happen in it.
My next other thing is I do something more with the mother character because she's just it's too
plain Jane.
too on the nose, too
agreed,
just ridiculously horrible.
Stream table,
yeah.
3 films currently in the stream table. At number 3 is Hard Feelings.
So I think this might be our first debate.
Okay.
In our burgeoning stream table.
We never debate this early on. I'm excited. Number 2 is The Girl in the Yellow Jumper, and currently at the top of the stream is The Call. There's the 4th film going in, and it's going bottom, surely.
The question is,
yeah,
is it 3rd or 4th?
It's 4th.
It's
Hard Feelings is terrible, but it has a story. It has a nice message. Done badly, but the message is good.
I just had fun. I had a bit of fun with this. I'm just like...
You're in a weird mood, man. Something's not right with you tonight. What's happened? There's no way this is better than Hard Feelings. I'm sorry. It's just not.
I will accept it's not better.
Okay.
For some reason, I think I enjoyed it more than Hard Feelings.
I'm just concerned by you. Are you okay? You need to talk to somebody.
I am talking to someone.
Professional.
Are you not professional?
Not in this wheelhouse, no.
I think it is probably fourth.
Yeah. It definitely is.
But honestly, I'd be tempted to have it above Hard Feelings. But I'm not bothered.
No, I know you're not. But what concerns me now is this film's going to trip us up all season.
No, it's not, because it's going bottom.
Yeah. Until when the next time we have an argument about it, was this better or worse? And we're just never going to agree on this movie all season now.
No, it's fine. It's fine to be where it is.
Yeah. But there's going to be other stuff that comes and you're going to go, I'm going to go, it's better. And you're going to go, no, it's worse. And all season, we're just going to argue about this fucking movie.
That you never wanted to think of again.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Oh, it's also 2 words, Riptide. Don't know why. It isn't. Yeah, cool. That's the end of that one. Should we pick next week's?
Yeah.
What do you want next week?
I'll say the same as last week because I've still not had it. I'll go an action movie.
Nice action movie. You've definitely not had it. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
He has picked us a movie called Hypnotic. Ever heard of Hypnotic?
I do not believe so.
It is according to IMDb, a psychological thriller and a mystery thriller.
Wow.
It's from 2021. Do you want the synopsis?
Yes, please.
Jen, an unhappy, unemployed programmer, meets Dr. Colin Mead, a shrink specialising in hypnotherapy at a friend's party. Her ex, Brian, whom she's avoiding, is there. She ends up sleeping with him and decides to see Mr. Dr. Mead. Not Mr. Doctor. Her personal and professional life improves drastically, but she starts questioning Dr. Mead's integrity after nearly killing Brian whilst hypnotised.
Oh. Evil hypnotist.
Evil hypnotist. Do you want to know who's in it?
Yes, please.
Katie Seagal.
Oh, brilliant.
I haven't seen Katie Seagal in this film, this show, since season 2.
No.
She won season 2. Jason O'Mara, Dula Hill. There's quite a few people in this.
Oh, I like Dula Hill. Fantastic. Oh, okay, yeah, sounds good.
Does sound good.
Sounds different from this week's movie.
1 hour and 28 minutes. Okay. This sounds very different from this week's movie, thank God. So yeah, go out and watch Hypnotic. And in the meantime, check us out on Instagram and Letterboxd at BOTS_podcast. If you want to drop us an email, our email address is bottomofthestream@gmail.com and our website is bottomofthestream.com. On our website, you will find every episode we've ever recorded, all the stream tables, loads of other cool stuff, and you can even get some merch if you want to buy a Bottom of the Stream
horse.
So you can stand sexily next to it.
Sure.
After you've done all of that, head over to Patreon, patreon.com/bottomofthestream. On there, for £5 every month, you will get early access to episodes. You'll get bonus episodes. You get loads of other cool stuff, and you will also get a wild card.
Sure.
Which means you can pick the film we watch one week, and if it's the best one of the season, you'll get a prize. And then when you've done all of that, head into the Discord. The Discord is a wonderful group of wonderful people who will literally talk to you about any old shit. And we play games, we do watch-alongs. We've got watch-along coming up this Sunday as of this episode coming out. And yeah, we do all sorts of cool stuff in there. The Discord link will be at the bottom of the show notes.
If you can spare us a few minutes, please consider leaving us a rating and review anywhere you can review and rate podcasts. It really helps. It helps get our show in front of the eyes and in the ears of more people, and that's what it's all about. You can find us anywhere that you find podcasts, places like Podbean.
Places like Podbean, indeed.
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those places. My mind just went totally blank.
It did, yeah. You looked, the fear in your eyes was real.
Everything dropped out of my head all at once. I can't stop thinking about beach horses.
So yeah, do all of that and then go out and watch Hypnotic, and we'll be back on Monday for The Wave and next Thursday for the movie show.
Cheers!
Bye!